Dakota, Fox News at 9. Torrential downpours leaving parts of the U.S. underwater tonight. Plus, a beloved school will live on only in memory. But first, an accused killer takes the stand with a much different story than her alleged accomplice.
This is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. Today, Madison West took the stand in Dickinson. She's accused of murdering Nicholas Johnson at a Bowman motel. West said she had nothing to do with the murder and begged her alleged accomplice to stop beating the victim. Daniela Hurtado is at Stark County Courthouse, where the question is being asked, why didn't she run for help?
Molly, that's a big question attorneys asked her, and she said she feared for her life. West, during her testimony, claimed she didn't touch Johnson and was pushed away several times by Swanson when she tried to shield Johnson's body with hers. West says she complied with all of Swanson's requests, like packing up all of her things from the motel and fleeing out of fear.
I felt like if I would have reacted in any way or tried to run, that Chase knew where all my family members lived, and it was the middle of the night, they wouldn't be alert. And if he came after me, I was afraid for my family's life after what I had just seen.
She claims she left a bloodied book bag in clear sight when she dropped off her things at her father's home in Wyoming. West says she did this in hopes of him realizing something was wrong. Tomorrow, closing statements will be made by attorneys on both sides, and we're expecting a verdict. Reporting in Dickinson for West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Daniela Hurtado.
Our other top story tonight, we're learning of a possible school shooting that was planned for Hettinger Public School. Police say they arrested a juvenile Monday night after threats were made to the school. Hettinger School Superintendent Ryan Moser confirmed the incident. He says it didn't happen during school hours, but had no other comment. The case is under investigation. And authorities arrested a student in connection to a threat yesterday in Belcourt School District. The superintendent says the student threatened to bring a gun, prompting administrators to delay school by 2 hours today. After school activities were also canceled. School will resume as normal tomorrow. And some new information tonight. A man is dead after a pursuit and shootout in Jamestown involving a Stutsman County Sheriff's deputy. Just before noon, the Jamestown Police Department engaged in a high-speed chase on Highway 281. Police say during the chase, the suspect shot at officers, then led them to the Woodworth area, where he eventually became stuck. Stutsman County Sheriff Chad Kaiser says officers fired back and hit the man. He says no officers were injured in the shootout. The name of the man is being withheld at this time. Time now is 9:03. Let's take our first check on weather with meteorologist Henry Blakes.
Once again, it was still frigid this morning.
Well, tax season is in full swing, which means it's open season for scammers. Today, I went to find out what the state tax department is doing to protect your filings.
It's the most taxing time of the year, and North Dakota is busy flagging fraudsters.
In the last few years, we've actually stopped over 1,400 different cases of fraud. We've stopped $2 million from going out the door in fraudulent refund claims.
According to Tax Commissioner Ryan Rauschenberger, as the state's technology evolves to protect taxpayers and flag suspicious activity, scammers are trying to stay one step ahead.
So people have stolen identities. They've basically tried to file and try to get somebody else's refund.
He says the best way to protect yourself from getting W-2 timed is to file early and pay attention to detail.
If you wait till the very last minute, there's a possibility somebody else might have used your ID, stolen your ID, and used it to get a refund, and then we might think that you yourself are the fraudster when you file.
The office also says, be smart. This year, a new scam is going around where people are getting fake checks from the tax office. Rauschenberger says if something seems too good to be true, chances are it is.
If you have any questions about your taxes this year, like how to file or when you'll get your return, you can visit nd.gov/tax. Speaking of taxes, Democrat Kylie Overson just announced her campaign for tax commissioner. Overson is a former member of the state legislature representing Grand Forks, but lost her re-election bid in 2016. Overson says she wants to influence tax policies that have taken the state from $1 billion surplus to a deficit in just 3 years. Overson is the first challenger to incumbent Ryan Rauschenberger, who you just heard from, who announced his re-election campaign in January despite pleading guilty to DUI last fall.
He's dealing with challenges, and that's on him to be able to address those things personally, and I hope that he does. As one person to another, I hope that he can address the problems he's dealing with, but I think it's more important that we talk about what our vision is for the Office of Tax Commissioner, and mine is vastly different than that of Ryan Rauschenberger's.
Overson says she's looking forward to the challenge of running as a Democrat in a statewide race. In education news, donors have contributed more than $40 million to Light of Christ Catholic schools in Bismarck for construction projects. The most notable is a new $36 million St. Mary's Central High School campus set to open in the fall of 2019. The construction crew is half complete with footings and foundation despite the cold.
We have to keep going, and we just struggle through it and keep working through it, put the boilers in and keep heating the ground and dig and pour, dig and pour. It's about all we can do.
Duma says the next month the steel will go up. To sign up for construction updates, go to keepthepromise.net. Well, 106 years after it went up, the original Mott School building is coming down. Some in the community wanted to save the building by renovating it, but the school says that would have cost millions of dollars. Current and former students shared their memories of the school.
Our sports program is so good because there was only one bathroom in the entire building, and it was in the basement. And so if you were in the library on the top floor, you had to walk all the way down, then all the way up just to use the bathroom. That's a lot of stairs.
A lot of memories from the teachers. You run into them on the street, and they still got memories. They bring up stuff you used to do when you were a kid, and you shake your head and wonder, did I really do that? Superintendent
Viola LaFontaine said the space will become something for the students. Florida students flocked to their state capitol today, calling for lawmakers to take action on gun legislation. Omar Jimenez reports.
1 week after a 19-year-old gunned down 17 people with an AR-15 style rifle, students filled the Florida State Capitol steps, calling for change. Inside the rotunda, survivors of the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School shooting relived their worst moments.
The door started to rattle, and at first, the only thought that came to my mind was, I'm going to die.
Turning that trauma into a call for action.
We want stronger mental health checks and background checks to work in conjunction. We want a better age limit. We want privatized selling to be completely reformed so you can't just walk into a building with $130 and walk out with an AR-15.
Some students said they were turned away from legislators' offices who told them meetings were by appointment only.
I'm not here for a fight. I'm not here to argue with you. I just want to speak. I just want to see your face and know why.
And in solidarity with the teens traveling to Tallahassee, students from Broward County schools and Miami-Dade schools, even students in Washington, D.C., walked out in protest. This all came hours before a scheduled listening session with President Trump at the White House with survivors of different school shootings.
Everybody right now is so stuck on what they believe that they're not even listening to what other people believe.
It should have been one school shooting, and we should have fixed it. And I'm pissed, because my daughter I'm not going to see again. She's not here. She's not here.
In Sunrise, Florida, I'm Omar Jimenez reporting.
The cry for gun control has been heard far and wide. Today, high schoolers across the country staged walkouts in solidarity with the students of Stoneman Douglas High School. This was the scene in Oak Park, Illinois. A few hours ago, same thing in Kentucky. This is at Simon Kenton High School in the town of Independence. Students chanted "No more guns" in unison as they walked out of the building. School officials saying they are supporting the students' First Amendment rights. In Minneapolis, same story. A group of students braved the cold and marched down a town two-lane street, chanting for tougher gun laws. Meantime, police say they derailed another possible school shooting in California. LA County Sheriff's officials say uncovered a student plot to open fire at El Camino High School in Whittier. An investigation searched the student's home when they came across, quote, multiple guns and ammunition. Details on the plot have not been revealed, and the student's identity is still unknown. A police officer in Maryland is shot and killed. It happened this morning in Prince George's County. Details are still coming in, but investigators say the PG County officer was protecting a woman from a domestic violence situation when he was gunned down by a male suspect. The suspect led police on a chase and was eventually shot and killed by officers. In Washington, the reward for information leading to an arrest in a cold case was just raised to $1.5 million in hopes of catching the killer of Tom Wales, who was a federal prosecutor. Wales was shot in the neck on October 11th of 2001 while he was sitting at home at his computer. Investigators say they believe the murder was related to Wales' work. And a 17-year-old girl is under arrest tonight in Texas after she allegedly carjacked her friend at gunpoint. Authorities initially believed Susan Mize was a victim of the crime, but later arrested her after her story didn't match up. Police say Mize set up her friend to be robbed by two teenage boys. Mize is charged with aggravated robbery and is being held on a $75,000 bond. Heavy rain causing major flooding in parts of Michigan right now. This is what it looked like in Clinton Township, where the high water swallowed houses and trees. Right now, a flood warning is in effect for certain areas of the state along the Clinton River, Rouge River, and Lower Rouge River. More flooding, this time in Arkansas. Dozens of students had to be rescued after their school bus got submerged in a rising river. This is near Little Rock. 17 middle and high school students were loaded onto a backup bus. No one was hurt in the rescue. And rescues are underway in Goshen, Indiana today after severe flooding has put the city under a state of emergency. The city right now is experiencing record river levels. City officials there have asked residents to limit travel and stay home if they don't need to leave. Speaking of water, the company 3M just settled the largest environmental lawsuit in Minnesota's history. The state accusing the giant consumer products company of contaminating groundwater by disposing PFCs for decades. 3M will pay $850 million, which is a fraction of the $5 billion the state was seeking. In entertainment news, a new USA Today survey says 94% of women have experienced some form of sexual harassment or assault during their careers in Hollywood. 850 female producers, actors, and writers filled out the survey. 87% say they have experienced unwelcome sexual comments, jokes, or gestures. 69% say they have been touched in a sexual way, and 21% say they have been forced to perform a sexual act. In health news, researchers believe they may be one step closer to testing a heroin vaccine on humans. The idea behind the experimental vaccine is to train the immune system to recognize and bind to heroin molecules, which blocks the drug from reaching the brain to create a high. And people can now experience the Grand Canyon in a whole new way. The Grand Canyon zip line just opened. Thrill seekers can soar over the canyon at 40 miles per hour. Henry, are you afraid of heights?
For the most part, yeah, but I don't mind flying. But zip line, yeah, that's something I probably would try. What about you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's definitely something a lot of folks would like to try, but not in this kind of weather.
Well, it's the end of an era. A few hours ago, Dan's Supermarket in Arrowhead Plaza in Bismarck permanently closed after 65 years. Maddie Jelseth paid a visit to see how people in the neighborhood are reacting.
Today is the last day this grocery store is open, and people are sad to see it go. Students at St. Mary's Central High School say they're going to have to find somewhere else to eat, and it's a tradition that's no more.
I go here every day, and I buy, on Mondays, I buy a muffin, 2-for-1 muffins, and then like probably every other day I come here and buy like a chicken wrap for fourth period, and now I'm not going to be able to do that, so I'm pretty upset.
Just a few minutes ago, Dan's Supermarket closed forever.
Well, St. Patrick's Day is a few weeks away, but McDonald's is getting in the spirit. Today, the Shamrock Shake is back. It's made of vanilla soft serve along with Shamrock Shake syrup and whipped toppings. They're available here in Bismarck. But first, over to our lucky charm, meteorologist Henry Blakes.
Right, thank you. The good news is that we're not going to be as cold in the morning as we were this morning, but still Williston, Montana, still looking at teens below zero, but elsewhere, single sub-zero temperatures. But remaining clear overnight into tomorrow, so that means it's going to be sunny. South wind around 5, maybe close to 10 across the southwest, and a better chance of upper teens and lower 20s. Gradual warming trend, especially over the weekend and Monday. Very few mentions of snow for now. That's going to at least hold off the snow until next Wednesday.
Henry, you're spoiling us.
Yes, I tried.
We'll see you tomorrow.